Once upon a time, deep in a jungle filled with tall trees and colourful flowers, lived a community of birds. There were parrots with vibrant green feathers, peacocks with magnificent tails, eagles with fierce wings, and many more. Among them also lived a humble crow, known for his plain, black feathers and sharp mind. One day, as the birds gathered on a sunny morning, they began to argue over who should be the king of the birds. The parrots thought they deserved the crown for their beauty, the eagles believed their strength made them worthy, and the peacocks flaunted their dazzling feathers, claiming they should rule. Soon the entire jungle echoed with their quarrels, and there seemed to be no end to the debate. As the birds quarrelled, a fairy happened to be passing by. She was gentle and wise. "Why are you all arguing?" She descended to the ground and asked kindly. The birds explained that they couldn't agree on who should be their king. The fairy thought for a moment and then said, "I have an idea. Tomorrow meet me at this very spot, and I will choose the king of the birds. But remember, the one who is most deserving will be crowned." The birds agreed and flew off excitedly to prepare for the big day. They all wanted to look their best, believing that beauty would surely win the fairy's favour. The next morning, the sun shone brightly as the birds gathered at the Parc-en-Daïd to bathe and preen themselves. The parrots gleamed in the sunlight, the peacocks spread their tails like rainbows, and even the eagles looked majestic as they cleaned their powerful wings. However, the crow sat on a nearby tree branch, watching them with a heavy heart. As he thought, he felt disappointed. His feathers were the same dull black as always, and he knew he had no chance of being chosen as king with such plain looks. The more he thought about it, the sadder he became. Just then, an idea sparked in his clever mind. After all the birds had left the pond, leaving behind a few fallen feathers of bright, beautiful colours, the crow saw an opportunity. He quickly swooped down, gathering the colourful feathers one by one. He carefully glued them onto his own black feathers, transforming himself into a dazzling, multicoloured bird. Satisfied with his new look, the crow admired himself in the water. "Now I look just as beautiful as the others, perhaps even more," he thought with pride. When it was time to gather at the fairy's meeting point, the crow strutted confidently among the other birds. He held his head high and his rainbow of feathers shimmered in the sunlight. The other birds, amazed by his transformation, whispered among themselves, wondering where this stunning bird had come from. When the fairy arrived, she gazed at all the birds with a smile. After much thought, her eyes landed on the crow, who looked magnificent in his patchwork of colourful feathers. "You," she said, pointing at the crow, "will be the king of the birds." The crow puffed out his chest, thrilled by the fairy's decision. He felt proud and powerful as the other birds watched him with awe. He had tricked them all. But as the day went on, the skies began to darken, and a strong wind picked up. One by one, the birds flew back to their nests to take shelter. But the crow, full of pride in his new role as king, stood firm in the wind, determined to show off his bright feathers. Suddenly, a powerful gust of wind swept across the jungle. The crow's feathers began to loosen and blow away. He tried to hold them in place, but the wind was too strong. Soon, every single colourful feather had been stripped from his body, leaving him with nothing but his plain black feathers. As the wind died down, the birds emerged from their nests and gathered once more. When they saw the crow standing there, his disguise gone, they realised what he had done. Anger filled the air as the birds approached him. "You deceived us," cried the parrot. "You tricked us all into believing you were something you are not," shouted the peacock. The fairy too looked disappointed. "Pretending to be someone you are not may bring temporary success, but in the end your true self will always be revealed." The crow hung his head in shame. He realized that true value lies in honesty and integrity,